has the GDPR also impacted your testing? And have you a good way to anonymize the test data that you have? So at FIGAF, we have a testing application for SAP PI and cloud platform integration. And one of the things that we have been working on lately has been to anonymize the data that you actually have. So you can actually just take a payload and anonymize it and use it for your testing. So everything would look identical, but you can change names and salary information and stuff like that. So let me give you an example. So here I have the FIGAF salary process, and I want to make a test on this. So I could do it in when I'm upgrading the system or anything like that. So here I have this one. I want to record one message, and we just say save. Then it will record, create a recording. We will then activate this, and this will start the recording process. And what is happening now is we can go to our PI system, send a message through, and when we check a look, we can see that we now got one message. We can create a test case of this. And here we have our test cases. So we can have a look at this test case, and let's have a look at the messages. And the best way is just to go through the data anonymization tab for this. So here we just select our first message, and we can instantaneously see that we got a lot of confidential data that we want to anonymize. So the first thing is the employee number. We just simply click here, say the employee number, and we would like it from a template. So all of our employee numbers in FIGAF starts with 12. So we don't have that many employees, so we can just see how that would work. So that seems okay. And we can then see how the data has been anonymized on the input side. We got a social security number. We will do that the same way. Generate from template. So that's just so that way we have some social security numbers, somewhat okay. We got our name. So this is one of the things that we will also be adding some more features in. So we can add lowercase characters for it, so we can test what names are here. We will be adding a feature that allow you to actually look up in a table of names so it looks more identical. So you will be able to upload a list of different test names that you can use, and then you can actually specify this also in the expressions. And then we got all the salary amounts, and you have, obviously you could just use the same approach and just create some different ones. But I think the best way is actually just to multiply it by a random number. I prefer between 0.4 and 0.8. And then I want 2 decimals afterwards. And the reason why I want this, so for instance, I am getting 30,000 in salary. So let's just check that. And when I then run my test, no one really knows what I'll be getting. Obviously, it'll probably be closer to the 30, but no one knows. As you can see here, it will have some different values in the range, but no one would know exactly what it is. And if say if the value was this one, then it will be difficult going back and figure out it was 30,000 or not. So this gives a lot of options to make some numbers that is closely related to what you want. And there will be a function so you can specify what are the decimal number we want here. So now we have actually anonymized all of this, and this is XPath, so we could also say, okay, the ATP here, this is a fixed amount, we don't want to anonymize this, but yeah, you could cancel that in the XPath here. So now we have created all our anonymized data, and it looks okay. So we will clone this test case, and we can skip it if there's some. So say if one of the conversion fails, it will just not insert those values. But in most cases, this should be okay. So now we have go back to our list of messages. So if we are in Australia, we now see we got 2 messages. We got our default one that recorded, and then we got our anonymized one. And then we can see the anonymized one would contain some random data for these things. So what we want to do is we want to run this. So it will run this, it will send the message through the PI system. And what you can actually then do is, once you go in here and check, we can see the testing result of this. And this will say unfinished. We can say, okay, there's an error. And we can check the difference. And the reason why it's all created is we're not able to calculate exactly what the output should be like. So it'll just say all of these values has been added. So what you say, you mark this as a new test case. So now we have created a new test case. So we can see now we have a new test case, and when we then run this, so we will then delete these 2 because they are no longer relevant, and we don't want our confidential data in our system. So we'll just delete these 2. We got our new one that we can then run. And then we can assign this to whatever data that we have. So we can see it's unfinished. We can see it's actually still in error. So let's have a look at the data. So everything looks okay. We can see there's some different strange names, so we at least know that this has been obfuscated. We can see some of the values here is okay. So we can see there's actually a timestamp here at the bottom that has been changed since we ran it last, and obviously we don't want that to pong out as an error, so we just say ignore this. And then once we run this again, we would see this as a accepted message that everything is okay here. So if we just view the result here, we can see it is successful and everything is okay. So in like 7 minutes, I've created a test case, anonymized the data, and I'm then able to run this on all the different objects that I want. So I hope this is something that you want when you're doing testing. You can check it out at figaf.com/IRT. Try it out. There's actually a free trial and a free version that you can use to test on your own system. So go check it out. I really look forward to hear your feedback on how this works in your organization. Thank you.